Hey everyone, my name is Sean Cecil from the Oculus Institute, and today I'm going to teach you guys how to get a raise. So normally I don't give advice primarily on how to improve the career that you're in. I primarily give advice about how to change careers. But the truth is that, if you're looking to make a career change, you may want to build up a little bit of capital beforehand. And so I've gotten this question about how do I go and ask for a raise? So I decided I was going to make this video to address it. So fundamentally, there are only two reasons that you can have to justify to your boss for giving you a raise. Now, that reason is not because I want it. It's not because I need it for this thing. Like any of that kind of stuff that's focused around you just isn't gonna hold water, right? Like the company does not care that you wanna go buy a new boat. The company does not care that you wanna go purchase this other thing. That is your personal problem. It has nothing to do with them, right? So the fact that you want it or that you need it for whatever is not any reason to go ask for a raise. So here are the two reasons that are legitimate that you can go put in front of your boss to justify why they should give you a raise. So reason number one is that you are adding a massive amount of value to the company. And you're gonna have to be able to quantify this. But if you can go down and sit in front of your boss and you say, hey, listen, I've increased revenues by $300,000 in the past year, and you're only paying me $100,000, right? I'd like a bigger slice of that pie. In that case, that makes perfect sense, right? Because the implication is that if you walk away, they're now $200,000 worse off, right? So there's room for negotiation there. It's like, hey, yeah, in that case, like, we can work something out. We can give you a raise, we can do this and that. Because, and moreover, you're putting your ask, which, $20,000 a year, $50,000 a year might sound like a lot, but if you're putting it in the context of the $300,000 a year that you're adding, suddenly it doesn't seem like so much. Right? And value doesn't necessarily just come on the revenue side. I mean, salespeople are always really focused on revenue. It can come on the cost side too, right? I mean, if you're somebody who's, more detail oriented, not client facing, you can come and say, hey, listen, I work in coding and I've gone and I implemented these changes that cut the number of support tickets by 95%. As a result, you didn't have to pay, X number of customer support staff that you would have had to pay to go answer these tickets. And so I've saved you $100,000 just in this project that I did in the past 2 months, right? And that's $100,000 a year ongoing, right? Now they're gonna say, oh, well, yeah, this guy's pretty valuable, right? And that's the kind of thing, those kinds of value focused, where you're increasing revenues or decreasing costs, increasing productivity, tying it to real hard numbers, especially ultimately to dollar numbers of either revenues or costs, really justifies why you deserve a raise. Because if you're adding way more value than they're paying you, like that gap is really clear. And that's something that will work really well. It also demonstrates that you have an understanding of the business, you have an understanding of your role in the business, you have an understanding of the dynamics and the finances of the business, which also helps put you on promotion track, because now you're showing that you're not just thinking about what you have to do on a day-to-day basis, you see the bigger picture, right? And the fact that, hey, listen, this person has leadership potential also justifies giving you a raise. So legitimate method number one, frame things around the value that you're adding, right? Legitimate method number two is it is more focused on yourself, but it's from a perspective of competition. So legitimate method number two is saying, hey, listen, I have an offer from that company over there, and they're offering me $30,000 a year more. So I like you, I think you're great, I'd like to stay here, but I gotta do what's best for me, so can you match that, right? Now, obviously, to use legitimate method number two, to focus on competition, you actually have to have other offers, which means that, you generally the best way to go about this is to go talk to your boss initially, and even if you can't point to the value, have some conversation, say, hey, I'd really, like to have a raise or something like that, expecting that he's gonna say no, right? Because if you don't have legitimate method number one, you're probably gonna get a no. If you do, great, use that. But if not, go get a no, then go apply to some other places, get a better offer, and then you can come back and it's not like, hey, listen, I was unhappy and I never gave you a warning. It's, hey, remember how I asked you about that? Like, I really need this. So I've gone out and gotten this other offer from these other people, and this is where I am. So can we revisit that discussion? Because the alternative is I leave. And if that's the case, you have to be, willing to walk away. But if that's the position, there's nothing like scarcity mentality and competition to get people to re-examine their priors. But if there's no competition and there's no framing around the value, there's no leverage for your boss to do it. So if you're gonna go with method number two, that's fine. I do recommend that you try to have some kind of conversation, whether you include value framing or not. in the beginning, and that way he won't feel like he's sideswiped, or she won't feel like she's sideswiped like out of nowhere. Oh, by the way, I've been applying to these other companies, because that can kind of like wig people out. But if you had the discussion and they ignored you, and then you went and did something about it, then they'll be like, oh crap, well we can't ignore this person anymore. And then now they really have to have a discussion. So in summary, the two best methods to get a raise is either one, to get clear on the value that you're adding in real numerical dollar terms and use that as the frame before you ask for the raise. And the second is to go lead in with a pre-raise discussion, go out and get other offers that are better than where you're at, and then use competition as leverage. So hope that helps you guys. Go out there, increase your pay, and I'll talk to you all soon.
Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you want to learn more about career planning, getting out of a burnout job, or creating a career that truly fulfills you, then I've got a free comprehensive video laying out the process. All you need to do is go to the link below, www.oculusinstitute.com/workshop, and sign up to get access to the free presentation. See you on the other side.